This is my Rubin RT-102 Zebra Wood Tenor, Travel Tenor ukulele. As you can see, the headstock is covered with zebra wood. The fretboard is rosewood with snowflake fret markings, and the ukulele body is quite pretty. Has a gloss finish, and it's quite thin. It's only 44 millimeters thick at the base. The back is slightly curved. You can see here. Well, maybe. What's interesting is the side pieces are one piece all the way around the ukulele, which I thought was interesting. Generally they're made in two pieces. Very interesting uke. I have it strung D, G, B, E. I did this with, on this ukulele, Fremont black lines. They're standard tenor black line strings, but I just tuned it to, it does make the strings a little low tension. But it's very playable and has a nice low tone, which suits my low voice, which if I ever start singing and don't scare the cats, will be helpful. Intonation is a little strange on this instrument. Because the fretboard is slightly twisted. I don't know if you can see it in this. Well, you'll see that the fretboard is slightly twisted below about the 8th or 9th fret, and it twists off like that. So the intonation is a little bit out on the higher frets, but for 65 bucks, it's not a bad deal. lovely sound. Has a bound fretboard with side markings. Oops. I don't know if you can see it, but the side markings show up on the 5th, 7th, 9th, 12th fret. Not that I use them very much, but perhaps when I start playing down here, it'll work out. Very lovely little uke, quite inexpensive, has a lovely tone. About a year ago, Rubin Ukulele changed their name to Caramel, and I purchased a Caramel CT-100 Tenor to see if a standard size tenor of zebra would be different than my travel tenor in terms of sound and so forth. As you can see, I did add some green sparkle paint to the rosette around the sound hole, and I think it makes it look a little better than just the burnt laser markings that were on it. But it is quite a bit thicker than the travel tenor. It runs around 60 millimeters rather than 44, and the sides are 2-piece rather than 1-piece. It does come, however, with a 3-band equalizer and tuner, which I don't actually use because it takes 2 batteries for the tuner, and my Snark and other tuners only take 1, so I just use my regular Snark. But it is quite pretty, has a satin finish rather than the gloss of the travel tenor. The back is slightly bowed. You can see it has a nice curve to it. Nice straight grained, book matched back. But it has a very different tone than my travel tenor. It's a little louder and has a very different voice. Now, like the other tenor, this is tuned D, G, B, E. This has Worth brown fats on it for strings. Has a nice ring, plenty of sustain, and but it doesn't have the side markings that you find on the travel tenor. Not that that's a big problem for me because I don't use them very much, but it has just regular dots for fret marks. I've thought about getting some of the snowflake type stick-ons, but haven't done that yet. But it is a nice little tenor. It plays well. Has a throaty kind of sound, and unlike the Rubin, which had to have some nut and bridge work, this one came fairly well set up. Intonation is good. The fretboard is straight. Have no problems. And again, it was only 65 bucks, so it was a heck of a deal, I thought. I wanted to compare the Travel to a standard size tenor, and when I bought this one, I was a little disappointed in the lack of the chiminess of it. But it doesn't sound too bad, but it's very different from the sound of the Rubin. Still, all in all, very good uke sound with the reentrant. Has nice sustain. I think it will be better playing in the lower frets or upper frets, but I really do like my Rubin better.